Hi there, this is Karen Stever, and I'm here with Frank Gryner at thepublicrecord.com, where we've been hosting Stever's Public Playground Project, which is a community effort to help us build a song from the ground up. Oh, I won! Yes! Yes!
No,
yes!
we're just having some fun.
Frank gets bored during the intro, so he's just like shaking it up over here. So, for you guys who are just tuning in, we are in bass and keyboard week. Lots of awesome low bass coming in because the song's in drop D. Everything's just low and heavy and grindy, which is super awesome. Thank you so much for sending everything in. Today we thought we'd talk about the two kinds of people that are in our community, so we all have a better understanding of the types of people that are here and the type of people who are submitting. The more I get to know you guys, which has been awesome, so many amazing people here, I'm starting to realize there's kind of two groups of people. There's the people here who want to play, they don't want to be bothered. They just want to put their part up to share with others, and that's all that they want to do. They don't want it critiqued. They don't want it to do anything different than just be there to share. That's awesome, and there's something super cool about that because you're feeling the freedom to just be out on the playground. And for some of you, you've never done this before. You've never shared anything with anybody before, and that is really awesome. And I encourage you to keep doing that because that's what it means to be out on the playground with other people. There's also the types of people here at the Public Record who really want to make their submissions better, or they want to learn something, or they just want to heighten their own experience in their own home studio. And I think, Frank, this is something we've discovered, right? These two kinds of people who are on here that, you know, have to kind of play well with others as well.
Yeah, and when you're, when we dispense advice, it's mostly geared to those people. For those who are having fun, keep on doing it. It's great. We don't have an issue with that at all.
If you're digging up snails in the corner of the playground and you're just loving that,
keep going.
Keep doing
but so just to direct our advice and suggestions, it is for the people who want to advance and want to be included on more records, and certainly that's a great thing, and that's kind of where we're aiming a lot of these videos to.
Right. If we have any tips for you guys, that's more what it's for. Well, I think the common ground I think we all share is that we're all just trying to heighten our own creative experience. So when we're in our studio at home, we just want to get the most out of our experience during recording. Yeah,
because sometimes it occurs to me, it's like a lot of you, music is a passionate hobby. You love to do it, and a lot of times I have more respect for that than those who are, okay, I got a career, and then they're compromised by an industry. Right. But and then then the public record thing comes along, and then a guy like me, we're barking out orders at you. It's not really about that. It's
we are mean, right?
No. But it's like it's not meant to be this. We're not like your boss at work or anything like that. So everything we do is in the spirit of suggestion to help.
And that's what I want to go over today, is some suggestions. Because I've heard other artists say this on the site who have been hosting their own playground projects, whatever those are called, public mayhem, public playground, public, but it's always public. I've heard a lot of people say, and I kind of feel the same way sometimes, is that there's these kinds of submissions that will come in that will be a great tone, but maybe not an appropriate part for the song that they're working on, or it's an inappropriate tone, but it's a really killer part they did. And I think something we employed early on, which was kind of cool, it's really worked in our favor, Frank, is somebody would send in a part that maybe their tone was just them on a little practice amp or something, just trying to get their part down, and then we would use that part, but just give it a different tone and stuff. And so that's been great. That works out really well. Not all projects will do that, unfortunately. You might run into situations where you just don't know why your part wasn't used, and that can be kind of crippling, as you think, well, I just really wanted to get better, or I wanted to learn something, or I wanted to have an understanding of why my part wasn't used. So we kind of came up with this game plan for you, is to maybe give two submissions that would work in either or case. The one, you could submit something that's safe and efficient. So Frank and I say, try doing a bass that runs along with that guitar part. Submit that. And you don't even have to do the whole length of the song, but just submit that. And then you could turn around and submit something that's really dangerous and really creative and outside of what we would even be thinking. And I would hate to shut that down because I would hate to miss something really cool.
Yeah. So it's like when we're in the past, when we've been in the studio with a session player or a band and we're doing an overdub, a lot of times what we'll do is spend a lot of the time perfecting the part, which
Right.
would be what you were referring to as the safe part, the one
Right.
that works, the one that functions.
It's just efficient.
And then at the very end, we're like, okay, take a rip at it and do whatever you want.
Right.
And they usually, like, if the bass player...
I do this when I'm recording vocalists a lot too, it's because you want to save their voice till the end.
And at the end, so then a lot of times, you know, that one pass, that crazy pass will have like maybe one moment in it where it's usable, like,
where you go
wow, that's
fishing,
great, and then you know, we can use that in conjunction with the safe pass, and so I think we're kind of replicating that scenario with you guys by suggesting that.
Yeah, just to go for those two kinds of things. So my advice would be, you know, don't be dangerous just to stand out, be dangerous because you're following what the music is guiding you to do. So I think knowing what your motivation is, when you're in your home studio and you're recording something, just ask yourself, why am I doing this? And when you put the part down, are you like, oh, I gotta compete, I gotta be better than everybody else on the site? Or are you like, no, I feel something, there's something guiding me to feel this certain thing and I've gotta explore it. Exploring is good. Trying to compete, not good. So if you can find out what your motivation is in the studio, I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
So now, I'm also never arrogant to tell somebody to not do something. I hate that. I don't ever want to come off as that person up on here that goes, don't play your bass that way, or don't do that. I would hate to miss what you guys are doing.
The second I mean, again, these are suggestions. It's impossible to anticipate every possible thing that you guys could dream up and send in, and we could love, and it's like, we're not going to be able to know to ask for something that we can't imagine yet.
That's right.
So again,
and that's how I further myself with music too. My whole experience with music is that if I stay open, I remember saying maybe it was 20 or 30 videos ago where when I used to take improv courses, the teacher would say, always say yes. You know, if somebody shoots an idea at you, always say yes and at least explore it. You know, and I think that's
like a polka record.
A polka record. I would do that because I have an accordion.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, see, that is that easy. This is a polka song now.
Done. Polka. Done. Send in your accordions. Accordion week. I stole that idea from Frank Piccolo Week. Self-admitted. Let's talk about these sample hits, Frank, that are starting to come in again. You may have remembered, and it wasn't clear to some people, but we had mentioned that we're leaving the sample hits library open for the whole duration of the process. Yeah, that's why you'll see it's in a different folder.
Yeah, you can submit sample hits to the very
whole
end.
Thing. So I want to talk about some sample hits that just came in that I thought were really cool. Toots, when he originally sent in remember he took his rototoms and he tore them up and he took the center out of them?
I never thought I would ever like rototoms.
Yeah, but he destroyed it and then stinged them. And
it's so creative.
Yeah, and it was really creative. But it's also been just one of those sounds on this song that have really stood out for me, and I'm really glad that he did something just thinking about it a little differently. So that was really cool. But Debbie sent in something called Kicking Aluminum Can on Concrete Driveway. And I like that feels like a really real-life scenario. I can imagine Debbie outside just kicking this can along. It reminds me, I had a lyric that I wrote many years ago in a song that said, when I was a girl I played kick the can, now all I want to do is kick the man. Whoa, how about that rhyme? But it would remind me of when I was a girl. I played a song called I played a game called Kick the Can. And so I feel like Debbie was outside, genuinely just having fun with this aluminum can. And Frank was on a different computer, and he heard the thing, and he's like, oh, what's that? Like, his ear kind of perked up. And I said, oh, Debbie submitted an aluminum can. And he's like, I could use that thing. You know,
strangely enough, I feel compelled to recycle.
Yes.
Sending a positive message.
It's like backwards messages on Led Zeppelin albums. All the things we think you should do. Don't be cruel to animals, and all those things are going to be hidden in the record. So I just want to thank Debbie. Thank you so much for sending that in. That's really awesome, and I like the spirit by which you did that. I think it's also important to mention that I did a blog recently where Debbie put this publicly, so it's okay to say it. But she had mentioned that, you know, she was just starting to get out and be creative and feeling kind of safe. And so I was excited that this is a big step for her to get out and put up a video of herself kicking this can down the street. That's really awesome, and that's what we're trying to do here at the Public Record, is bring those people out. And if you guys know people, and this isn't us recruiting like in a religious way, but there's pockets of people all over the internet that I'm finding who I think would really benefit from the Public Record.
We should make the TPR cult.
Why not? Come on, Jim Jones did it.
We get Scott Humphrey to dress more like a cult-like. We can have a cult van.
You know what I think? You know why I think that we're talking about Scott a lot on camera this week is because he's really busy. He's probably not even watching these videos. Scott is busy making TPR better for you guys. Yeah. All these bugs are going to be sorted out. We got a new site coming and everything, as many of you have already talked about on the blogs and the forums. So Scott's been really busy working hard for you guys. So anyway, hopefully some of these tips that we shared with you today are helpful in doing your submissions and just bettering your own experience in your home studio, okay? So until tomorrow, we will talk to you then. Rock on.